Hi, and welcome back to Star Conflict Tutorials. We'll continue our review of game modes. Today, we're going to talk about Beacon Capture, a mode that unlocks at player rank 10. What is different about this mode? We can say that Beacon Capture, for one, is a very unforgiving game mode to play. If your ship is destroyed, there's no respawn here. You'll have to pick another one. Once you lose all of your ships, you will be forced to spectate for the remainder of the battle. Each team has 3 home beacons. You will have to defend your own beacons and deactivate your enemies at the same time. The victory will go to whichever team has more beacons at the end of the battle. If the game ends in a draw, then the frags will be added to the final score count. Sometimes you can win by actually destroying all of the enemy ships. Gameplay-wise, this mode resembles the now familiar Control. The only difference is that you do not have to hold a beacon. All you have to do is turn it off by depleting the beacon's points to a 0. Afterwards, the beacon cannot be reactivated. But this difference alone is enough to drastically change the tactics of combat. For example, the frigates have no need to hold the central beacon or the map's middle. Here they must punch through the certain positions that can later be used as staging areas for a full assault. More often than not, these locations are where the allied and enemy beacons are closest to each other. By holding these positions, you can kill 3 birds with 1 stone. You protect the beacon behind you, you can relocate to the central beacon relatively easily if need be, and you can support your team if it mounts a major offensive on the enemy beacon. The only setback with this tactic is that you will have to depend solely on the interceptors to cover the farthest beacon. A slow-moving frigate will not be able to protect that one anyhow, nor should it, since there's no need to hold all of the beacons. Rather often, the teams exchange 1 beacon each and then direct all their strength at a single direction on the map. It would be wise to send some torpedoes at the enemy beacons early on. This will allow you to clean up those pesky drones, since they're much stronger here than in Control game mode. The drones don't respawn here as in the other game mode. What do you do about the interceptors? First, you must wait and assess the enemy positions. Do not rush blindly at the enemy beacon or you risk losing the ship at the very beginning of the battle. Act as soon as the battle starts. Aside from helping the frigates, the interceptors in this game mode must attack and hold the enemy beacons. The statement is especially true for the side beacons. By choosing a moment when the enemy is busy with combat somewhere far away, you should try and see some now empty beacon, but be careful. If you encounter any serious resistance, you should retreat, which is still a good move since you draw the enemy's attention, making him restore the points lost from that beacon, meaning that this enemy will be essentially out of the picture for a considerable amount of time. If the enemy chooses not to restore the beacon, you can finish that beacon off with just 1 more attack and finally disable it for good. Now, a couple of general words of advice for you. Play it safe here. The price of failure in beacon capture is very high. A fully depleted beacon capture cannot be restored, nor you can respawn with a ship that has been destroyed in this particular battle. If you have just 1 last ship left on a roster, you must be even more careful. Secondly, the frags here play a very major role. You can destroy all of the enemy's engineers, leaving the enemy no option to repair their ships. Or you can attempt and kill the entirety of the enemy ship reserves, thus seriously limiting the enemy team. Remember who you destroy and then try and attack the players you have destroyed previously in this battle. Also, choose carefully what ship you want to fly. You better have at least 1 engineering ship available in reserve so you can use it to repair your teammates. Sometimes the players self-destruct to change their ship, since in this mode, no repair means no victory. If you lack fast ships, then you risk losing the beacons, while if you have no heavier ships, you'll be simply blown away with a frontal assault. Finally, you need to know how to properly defend a beacon. You best approach it as close as possible to replenish any points lost from it. If the enemies outnumber you, you should try and damage them equally, going from one target to another to disrupt their capture beam. This will give time for your reinforcements to arrive. The ideal defender of a beacon is a guard frigate. It can essentially stop the capture of a beacon dead in its tracks using the pulsar module or its special weapon, the destructor. Well, don't forget to restore your beacon's points up to the very brim. Sometimes the combat results will come down to just a few points. Do not let the enemy have that small advantage to victory. That's it for today. See you in space.